ensure inclusivity among citizens, regardless of physical or mental challenges. Secretary Pollard expects the first one to be constructed within the next fiscal year.
Because I've already talked to Habitat for Humanity, I've spoken to UNDP, and I'm also talking to private investors, because the first park will cost about, like I said, $560,000 purchase and install. So that persons with wheelchair and all could really go in and swing and everything like that. So.
In the meantime, the THA continues to work toward hiring persons with disabilities within each division. Secretary Pollard stated that while some divisions have already done so, they are working with the families to ensure appropriate accommodations are in place.
Some divisions started, but I have already had conversation with them a couple of weeks ago, and I'm certain, like I told you in the last report, that by the start of the new fiscal 2026 and 2027, each division will have persons who are differently able to employed. But we have work out with their families that they work 4 hours.
In other news, Health Minister Dr. Lakram Bodo says Trinidad and Tobago is making steady progress toward establishing a permanent national prosthetics center. He made the remarks while speaking virtually at CARFA's 70th Annual Health Research Conference in Guyana on Wednesday, adding that proposed plans for the Children's Hospital could be expanded to serve not only the country, but the wider Caribbean region as well. Following India's assistance in providing prosthetic limbs for 800 diabetic patients, Health Minister Dr. Lakram Bodo says TNT is now preparing to take the next major step. Addressing a ministerial panel discussion at CARFA's 70th Annual Health Research Conference, he confirmed that work is underway toward the establishment of a permanent prosthetic center.
We're able to provide prosthetic limbs for some 800 of our patients, mostly diabetics, and of course some as a result of trauma. And it is, we're very close to operationalizing a permanent prosthetics center in the country. And in terms of sharing with the Caribbean, we're hoping that we'll have the capacity to be able to allow sharing with, seeing patients from the other countries.
Dr. Bodo also announced plans to position the Couva Children's Hospital as a high-level referral center, emphasizing that the facility would be designed to serve the wider Caribbean region.
Has been the opportunity for us to create a specialist hospital, what will be a tertiary, perhaps quaternary hospital at the Couva Children's Hospital. Because of our increase in bed capacity over the years, we are now able to focus on that facility to make it tertiary quaternary hospital, not only to serve Trinidad and Tobago, but of course to share that with the rest of the Caribbean.
The health minister also revealed that a comprehensive workforce assessment completed with support from the Inter-American Development Bank is now guiding staffing strategies even outside the country. In more news, on Wednesday at the National Racquet Center in Tacarigua, the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs distributed 65 grants for athletes and sporting bodies with the aim of aiding them for upcoming competitions, training, travel, expenses, and other amenities in 2026. Speaking at the event, Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs Philip Watts added that he wants to see this country's continued success on the international stage and believes this program will go a long way in doing that, especially with 2028 Olympic Games on the horizon.
System where a young girl from Point 14, a young man from Arima, or a differently able athlete in Tobago can look at today's ceremony and say, there is a place for me in sport, and my country will back me.
And that's what's making the news this morning. But joining us right now is Virmala Balkaran, the host of Trinidad and Tobago Today. Good morning, Virmala, and happy Friday Eve.
Good morning, Wait, it is Thursday.
Right, so Friday Eve.
Someone said if they don't look at us on mornings, they never really know how many days are left until the weekend, because I'm always counting down. Absolutely. I feel like this was one of those weeks. But this week kind of really went by quickly.
It did. And tomorrow is Friday already, and everybody will be like, thank God it's Friday. But you know what? I enjoy my work week, so, and I'll be back on the trails again very soon.
Oh my goodness. Did you do anything for Earth Day yesterday?
No, I actually was staying to write another feature, so I'm working on another one.
So in some way,
doing the
you
script.
kind of honored the earth by staying inside and writing about the earth.
Yeah, you know. I'll
Yeah.
take that. I'll take that one. Thank you.
Well, I heard that something special is happening today as well.
Yes, it is World Book Day, actually, and it commemorates the importance of literacy and reading. And, you know, it seeks to encourage people to get reading. Do you have any favorite books?
I do. It's quite a lot. I think I have a few, so I'll probably not go through all of them today. But I want to remember, Carrie, some of my old-time favorites from back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember reading books in French and Spanish.
Really?
Yeah, because I was a literature and a languages student. So I had to read about 5 books in French, 5 books in Spanish, and then about 5 in English. So at some point in time, it was very overwhelming. And one of my favorite books was by, I believe, Gabriel Marquez, and it was really, really good. And it's one of those books that really stayed with me.
Yeah, you know, and reading is such and we spoke about reading recently, right? And reading is such an important thing. It helps with your vocabulary, it helps with your imagination, it helps even with your own writing, because, you know, you get exposed to the different literary styles. And I remember from since I was a child, I used to, as soon as school was done in primary school, I would run down and go into the library in San Fernando at Library Corner, that historic building, and spend the evening until my parents came to pick me up.
Listen
just
to
reading
me, the
different
worst
books.
thing was having an overdue library book.
Yeah, right? You know, you had to go pay like $5 or something.
And then you have to ask your parents for that money because you were, you know, too lackadaisical and you didn't remember. You're delinquent, you didn't take your library book back.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That happened to me quite a lot. I'm so sorry to my old librarians. Well, Carrie, hopefully everyone out there is reading something really good. Send us your book recommendations. We are always happy to see what you're reading, and let us know.
Yes, please.
All right, well, Carrie, another packed show for you today. You know the drill.
As
We continue
usual.
to talk about everything happening in the government's first year in office. Today, we are joined by the Honorable Sean Sobers. So that is something to look forward to. Also, it is Tobago Thursday.
It is Tobago Thursday, so we need to find out everything that's happening in Tobago as well.
Yeah, so you have to stick around for that.
Certainly.
All right, Carrie, and I'm going to bring you a book. I think I'm going to bring you one of my favorite, well, my favorite book. If you could read it in Spanish.
I would, yes, and I'll have to make time to read, but for sure.
All right, Carrie.
As long as it's not in Spanish or French, right? Because
It's in Spanish.
That will not help me whatsoever, Virmala.
That's okay. All right, Carrie, talk soon.
All right, we will. Thank you.
All right.
All right, when we come back, the Trinidad and Tobago Today show gets going after this break.
Your news, anytime, anywhere. TTT News brings you the facts that matter most, on air and online. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
You are dearer to me than all the stars. So many wish but never reach. 'Cause when I'm falling and all the world seems dark, you help me find my peace. Oh, shun mi ba fishani. Oh, shun mi ba yeah. Oh, shun mi ba fishani. Arubita. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hi, everybody. I am Leah.
And I'm Dion.
And we are
The Duncans.
Listen, we're here to tell you about a project the Lord has given to us called the Marriage Confessional. It is geared toward married couples, those that are on the road to marriage, and those that want to get married one day.
So join us on TTT and on Facebook and YouTube at TTT Live Online.
The Marriage Confessional, only on TTT.
I'm Renee Sion. with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Barcelona drawing a game, not winning their first set of game. Worried, concerned?
Emotional damage is fantasy.
What a wonderful finish!
They see any stop. Let me come again. One more time.
Thursday, 23rd April 2026. The time now, it is 6:11 a.m. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world. I'm Virmala Balkaran and welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today. Well, let's take a look now at what's trending this morning. Prime Minister Kamla Prasad-Bisesa says her administration has made a solid progress in its first year, but maintains that more work lies ahead, noting that efforts were made to address years of neglect. On crime, she highlighted a 42% reduction in murders and a 30% drop in serious offences, crediting the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service for their response. She says the government is pursuing a multi-layered anti-crime strategy, including increased policing, added resources, and targeted measures such as the state of emergency. While the Prime Minister has also ruled out an immediate cabinet reshuffle as of April 23rd, 2026, stating that her administration is focused on delivering results after their first year in office. And at the sod turning for a new $220 million Hilton Garden Inn at South Park, San Fernando. Well, the Prime Minister said that this project is a critical shift from announcement to execution. The development is expected to begin construction within 60 days and will create approximately 400 jobs during the building phase and 150 permanent positions upon completion. And also during her address, the Prime Minister contrasted the project with a decade of what she described as failed promises and stalled hospitality investments under the previous administration, positioning this hotel as a key economic asset for South Trinidad. And reflecting on her 40 years in public life, she reaffirmed her commitment to rural development and economic transformation, quoting Robert Frost to signal that her administration's work in delivering national infrastructure is far from finished. Well, now the Tobago House of Assembly is set to convene a special sitting today at 10 a.m. to debate and pass the Tobago Marine Park Bill 2026. And this is a move that marks a significant step forward for environmental governance and the protection of the island's coastal resources. Following high-level consultations between the THA and central government, including Prime Minister Kamla Prasad-Bisesa and Attorney General John Jeremy, the updated legislation seeks to establish a modern framework for managing marine park boundaries and preserving biodiversity while balancing the needs of the tourism and fisheries sector. And once passed by the Assembly, the bill will be transmitted to the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to be enacted into national law, fulfilling the requirements of Section 29 of Act 40 of 1996. On April 8th, 2026, 7-year-old Angelica Jogi lost her life in a tragic jet ski accident at Pigeon Point, Tobago. And in the latest development, the operator has been released from police custody as investigations continue. And joining me this morning is Chief Secretary Farley Augustine of the Tobago House of Assembly. Good morning, Mr. Augustine, and welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, thank you for making the time to be with us this morning, Mr. Agassi. Now, how important is the Tobago Marine Park Bill in strengthening environmental governance and safeguarding Tobago's coastal resources for future generations?
It is extremely important. As a matter of fact, this is the second time that the Tobago House of Assembly will be passing a bill of this nature. In November of 2020, we did in fact pass a bill of this nature, and at that time I was a minority assemblyman, and we unanimously, meaning all members of the House, including those of us who were in the minority at the time, supported the bill. The bill was sent down to Parliament, but it was never ever placed on the legislative agenda between 2020 and now. We are returning to the House this morning, updating that bill because, of course, a few things have changed. The use of the marine park has evolved since that time, and so we are returning to the House where we are updating that said piece of legislation, and we're sending it to the Parliament thereafter. I've had conversations with the Attorney General and the Prime Minister, and I've been given the assurance that once that bill is resent to the Parliament, that they will work post haste in getting it to the Parliament for debate and of course, for assent from the Parliament so that the Assembly law can take effect.
Now, as you just said, there was much consultation and a lot of collaboration that went into this. So what does this say, in your opinion, about the alignment on national environmental priorities at this time?
Well, it says to me that, one, the central government is now taking the Tobago House of Assembly serious. And unfortunately, it shouldn't have been the death of a young child for the central government to say, hey, look, this assembly law that you sent since 2020 is important. Let's treat with it. Granted that the current central government was not responsible for taking it to Parliament in 2020. It was a different Prime Minister and a different government. And so it's unfortunate that it took this death for us to get some movement on it. Secondly, this issue hits home at the heart of our long-standing query about autonomy for Tobago, because there are several Tobago matters that are not treated with, that are just there languishing because they have not been national priorities, that Tobago and Tobagonians should be able to treat with themselves, ourselves, that will allow for us to manage the economic fortunes of the island, the social development, of the island, that really should not require national intervention. Thirdly, when we talk about preserving our environment, for Tobago, that is critically important. It's an important asset in our tourism product. And so for us, while this is not ordinarily national priority, it is always a priority for us on the island because it's part of what we sell as Tobago's tourism product. And so this is a step in the right direction, and I must thank the Prime Minister and AG for acceding to my requests and for giving the commitment that this will take priority, national priority, legislative priority at the Parliament.
Mr. Agassi, my final question to you before you go. Once passed by the Assembly and sent to Parliament, what are the next steps for implementation, and what impact do you expect this legislation to have on Tobago's long-term development?
Once passed by the Assembly today, the next step would be for the Attorney General and or a Minister of Cabinet to be granted the authority to bring this to the Parliament. It's brought to the House of Representatives and the Senate for passing, and once passed, it must then be sent to the President to be assented to. And once that happens, it then becomes law. I want to really encourage all parliamentarians, whether in the government side, the opposition side, on the independent benches of the Senate, to really move quickly with this bill and to pass it. The truth is, there is nothing that is stopping the loss of another life right now as we speak. And it speaks to the fact that while the Tobago House of Assembly has been given management and administrative controls over several areas in Tobago, such administrative and management controls comes without any real authority in law. And so having this bill, one, it will be the first time Section 29 of Act 40 of 1996 will be used. And secondly, it will grant THE and accompanying agencies such as the TTPS and the Coast Guard real authority to move on the policies of the THE with regards to marine parks in Tobago.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Augustine, for joining us this morning, for taking the time to be with us and to help us explain all of this as well. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a great day, Trinidad and Tobago.
Right. That was Chief Secretary Farley Augustine of the Tobago House of Assembly. Well, the show is just getting started. It is Tobago Thursday on Trinidad and Tobago Today. So you know what to do. Grab your cup of coffee and settle in. Trinidad and Tobago Today has begun.
Struggling with heart health or frequent migraines? Discover the simple steps to reclaim your energy and vitality.
We're diving into a topic that affects about 422 million people around the world: diabetes.
Tune into Wellness Unlocked, the series that delivers expert advice, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your health and well-being. Your health matters. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on TTT and take the first step toward better health.
Women are a quiet strength the world leans on, the hands that holds everything together, and the heart that keeps on giving, even when they're tired. And it's time for us to celebrate that. I'm Yashamani, your host of Majestic Makeover, the series which uplifts and transforms the lives of everyday women who've carried so much for so long. In this season, we're looking for women like these, women who have endured, women who survived, women who keep on going, no matter what. A woman who's lost a loved one and finds the strength to go on. A survivor of crime who refused to be broken. A woman over 70 who gives to her family and the community every single day. A survivor of serious illness who continues to live with hope and courage. A physically challenged woman living fully with dignity and determination. These are the stories we want to honor. Do you know her? Nominate her. Let's celebrate her. Send us 2 brief paragraphs which briefly states who she is, your relationship to her, and why she deserves this journey. As well, send us your contact information. Send it to majesticmakeovertt@gmail.com. Because remember, every woman needs to feel majestic. Majestic Makeover Season 3, right here on TTT.
TTT News, every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Unleash your imagination with TTT's terrific Toon Time. Join us as we stop evil geniuses from taking over the world from Super Z. Or hop on board for a journey into outer space with Galaxy Kids. Be a part of our quest to save the forests alongside our robot pals from Bugsbot Ignition. Or let's go exploring with Duda and Dada. Catch Terrific Toon Time weekdays at 4:15 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. It's fun-filled adventure with Terrific Toon Time right here on TTT.
Well, today on Tobago Thursday, we are joining the global community in celebrating International Girls and ICT Day. While the tech world is often seen as the boys' club, women right here at home are breaking those barriers and maintaining the digital infrastructure we rely on every day. Our next guest is a perfect example of that. Candine Frank of Tobago Information Technology Limited is a systems analyst who is paving the way for the next generation of innovators. And we're going to find out how she found her passion for tech and what she wants every young girl watching this morning to know about a career in digital space. Well, good morning to you, Candine.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you for joining us this morning. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing great. Happy to have this conversation with you, Candine. You know, many people see IT as just fixing computers, but it is much more than that. So what was that initial moment for you where you realized that this was a career that you wanted to pursue?
Okay, so good morning again, everyone. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. My path to ICT. So after secondary school, I did not want the traditional female-oriented jobs, the 8 to 4s or just sitting in an office. I wanted to do something more. And after careful research, I decided, you know what? I am going to try my hand at ICT.
Yeah. And what does your job look like on a daily basis when people hear ICT technician? You know, they think someone is hidden away in a server room or just fixing cables. But tell us, what is exactly your job?
Okay, so as a systems analyst or solutions analyst, my job ranges from technical stuff to the paperwork. So in the morning time, I could be doing training, and by afternoon time, I would be with clients. I would be doing getting requirements. I would be documenting procedures. I would be creating policies. So my job is not just technical. It's like 40% technical and 60% people. And what I love about my job is I am able to bridge the gap between the technology and the persons using the technology.
So for the students watching this morning, tell us, what was your educational path like? Was tech something that you were always good at, or you had to really build and work hard at those skills?
Actually, I did not do IT in secondary school. I actually wanted to be a doctor. So I did sciences. I was good at sciences. But after secondary school, I realized that technology is something that we need, and we would be able to rely on it on a daily basis. So I decided, you know what? I am going to try my hand at the boys' things. I did my first diploma in computer science, and I was successful at that. Then I decided I would go and I would do more, and I would do more, and I would do more, because IT is not just a skill that you get and you babysit it. It's something that you have to build on. It's a skill that you build on.
Now, International Girls and ICT Day is all about empowerment. So how has having these technical skills changed the way you view your own potential and your independence, Candy?
I feel free. I feel empowered to have a voice, because sometimes you are in spaces and you would need a different opinion from somebody else. You would want to know, who is this for? How would this work? And you always need someone there to bridge that gap between the technology and the non-technical user to make life easier for everyone. So Being in ICT, I feel free and I have the opportunity to have a voice for the persons who would use technology on a daily basis, but not able to actually give their opinion. And it makes me feel very good as a female.
And why do you think we see fewer girls entering ICT, and what can we do as parents, educators, and caregivers early to change that narrative?
All right, so as you would have initially stated that it's the boys' club. IT is not just the boys' club anymore. And females feel intimidated when they walk into a room and they see probably 5 males or 10 males just sitting there looking at them, and they feel intimidated. But what, as caregivers and as persons who would have been in the industry before, what we can do, we can encourage them, continue to encourage the young females to take the part of ICT. It's not just technical. You can do so much more than the technical work. You can do so much more than networking, fixing a computer. There's business computing. You can become a teacher, you can become a lecturer, you can guide persons along the correct path in ICT. So it's not just about, okay, sitting down in a room or sitting down behind a computer or in a server room. You can do so much more and you belong there. Don't ever feel that you don't belong in that room. You can have online communities, you can join girls in tech communities and groups, and you would feel a part of the entire space instead of just thinking, okay, it's a boys' thing and I don't belong here.
Yeah. Now, Candy, my final question for you is, technology is moving really fast these days. What's one area of ICT, whether it's AI, cybersecurity, networking, anything like that, that you think offers the most exciting opportunities for women in the next few years?
My first choice would be cybersecurity because, okay, so just as your normal home, you will secure your home when you're leaving your space. And in the online world, you still need to secure your space. All right? Persons would think that online security is not important, but we would have heard stories in the past that there's identity theft. My money goes missing. My account was hacked. So for me, cybersecurity is what would give females that push in the near future.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Candine, for joining us this morning. And we're very proud of you and all that you continue to do. We wish you all the best going forward in your career.
Thank you so very much.
All right. Have a great day. That was Candine Frank, Tobago Information Technology Systems Analyst, joining us, International Girls on ICT Day. Well, Tobago Thursday continues when we come back on Trinidad and Tobago Today.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
From all over Trinidad and Tobago, Anil wrapping roti at lightning fast speed.
Sandra nailing every order in her hardware.
Lisa, who is in sync with style. There is no buffering at her boutique.
And Dr. Alex filling prescriptions with care. They're all part of the 5,000 strong businesses connected and growing with reliable, high-speed service from Amplia.
Now it's your turn.
Because with Amplia,
you're in good company. Amplia Business.
Hi everyone, I'm Marissa Benin. Coming up, Jamaica, here we come. These women of vision are on a mission. Ride the waves and savor the flavor, otherwise known as spending quality time in Antigua and Barbuda. Fun times, plus the food that sets St. Kitts and Nevis apart, all available under one roof. Cue the entertainment and the food. It's Chinese Spring Festival time.
A new season equals new dreams, and many football fans are dreaming of their team actually winning this season. But the reality is that only one team can win, so many will just be dreaming and wishing and hoping that their team can deliver. Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Notice I have not mentioned Arsenal. Don't be upset, I'm not mentioning Man U either. This is Atto Bolden inviting all of you to follow the 12th man as they celebrate a new season on TTT and enjoy the ride.
It is a landmark 250 years in the making. On April 30th, 1776, a visionary ordinance created the Main Ridge Forest Reserve, establishing it as the oldest legally protected forest in the Western Hemisphere. 2.5 centuries later, this lush backbone of Tobago continues to sustain the island's water, soil and heritage. We are now on the cusp of a historic commemorative week, ranging from student reenactments of the 1776 parliamentary debates to a prestigious award ceremony honoring Tobago's environmental guardians. Well, joining us this morning to discuss the milestone and power of corporate partnership in conservation are Virmala Balkaran, chairman of the Main Ridge 250 Committee, and Onika Blackman, Virmala Tobago Country Operations Manager. Good morning to you both and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Virmala. Good morning, Ms. Blackman. And good morning to the audience of TTT.
Now, the Main Ridge.
Good morning.
The Main Ridge is the oldest protected forest in the Western Hemisphere. So, Virmala, as chairman, what does it mean to you to be leading the celebrations for such a massive 250-year milestone?
So let me start you off with a concept here, and I want to make a claim that Tobago has led the way in modern environmental conservation. And you might be thinking that's quite an audacious statement with just a little dot on the map. But in 1776, we were established as the first ever protected forest reserve for the purpose of watershed management and conservation. And today, we see persons adopting similar measures. So, quarter century ago, while the world was focused on exploitation and expansion and sugar cane, Tobago chose a very different path. And it's truly a pleasure and an honor to be here, to be part of that legacy in ensuring that moving forward, we continue to champion that cause.
Yeah. And Onika, Virmala has a long history of supporting national initiatives. Why was it a priority for the company to step up as a major sponsor for the Main Ridge 250?
We see this as more than a milestone. It's a moment of national reflection. The Main Ridge Forest Reserve is a treasured part of Tobago's identity and an important part of the Trinidad and Tobago story on a whole. So as an indigenous company, we believe we have the responsibility to protect and preserve what belongs to all of us, our people, our heritage, and our environment. So our sponsorship comes from that sense of responsibility. We invest in initiatives that build national pride and protect what makes us who we are. So Main Ridge 250 represents just that, 250 years of vision, of care, and supporting it is our way of standing alongside that legacy.
Now, Virmala, I know that students will reenact the 1776 parliamentary debate. So it is really important to involve the youth, you would agree. I know there's also bird watching, there's a time capsule as well. So can you give us the details about all of this?
Sure. So we begin with the opening ceremony at the Main Ridge Center on Monday, the 27th. We'll be partnering heavily with Virmala for this opening ceremony. So it's going to be quite an interesting piece. We also partnered for that day with University of the West Indies through their bioresilience program, because it's important that we focus this entire initiative on education. At the end of the opening, we're going to have the judging of a mural competition for secondary school students, which was hosted by our wildlife department. So after we get off to such a strong start, the tempo is only going to increase on Tuesday. On Tuesday, we're going into the Assembly Legislature with students from the various secondary schools across Tobago. We're talking about Mason Hall, Roxborough, Goodwood, Speyside, Bishops. Most of the schools in Tobago are involved, and these kids will be garbed in the attire of the parliamentarians of 1776. We are training them to speak and act like the politicians of that time. It's going to be very informative, very interesting. And I really want to thank the Assembly for allowing us the space of their venue in order to reenact this historic moment. This now leads into Wednesday's activity, Wednesday the 29th, where we're going to take a small group of persons, 30 persons, into the forest to observe a bird banding exhibition, which is a scientific study conducted on birds, as well as a guided tour. What we plan is the persons who involve in framing the legislation and the policy to be on that tour. So the teacher secretaries, we have government ministers involved, we have our state sponsors involved. So it's going to be quite an intimate event where persons can really get in touch with nature. And all of these feed into the grand day of activities, which is Thursday, the 30th of April, where we'll be having in the morning session a time capsule ceremony with a military-style parade and a cultural parade. And we'll actually take the ordnance and have it passed from hand to hand in a relay format of the various leaders in forestry over the years. We're having this event at the Maynard Center, and at the end of this procession, we're going to have the unveiling of the actual ordnance, well, a replica of the actual ordnance, which has been found in the archives of England by the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited. A special good morning to my friends in Tital. So we're partnering with Tital to ensure that we have the ordnance, a replica of it. And the grand event is the gala, which is happening Thursday the 30th in the night at the Shore Park Complex, where we'll be honoring 25 persons to celebrate 250. These 25 persons would meet different criteria and be awarded prizes based on their contribution, both in terms of length of service and also in terms of quality of service, in ensuring that forestry in Tobago, that the main ridge and that Trinidad and Tobago as a whole is adequately reflected in environmental conservation.
All right, thank you for that, Bimal. Definitely a lot happening. So with all of these events, Onika, technology and nature, may kind of seem like opposites, but how does B-Mobile see its role in helping to connect the public to Tobago's natural heritage, especially during this week of activities?
Yes, I can see how persons may see it as opposite, but we don't see technology and nature as opposite. We see them as working together, like a bridge. Connectivity at its core, it's about access, helping people experience, understand, and truly value what exists beyond their immediate space. And for us at B-Mobile, our slogan says, life is on. But we're not just speaking about being on. We're talking about being or staying connected to the people, the places, and the experiences that shapes who we are. So through our investments and partnership, we help make our natural heritage more visible, more accessible, and part of everyday life. Because when people feel connected in a meaningful way, they are far more likely to protect it. And that's the role we see ourselves playing, helping to deepen that connection through technology and bridging nature along.
I like to play on that word, Onika, connectivity, connection, connect. Well, Bimo, before we go, can you tell us, for those of us tuning in, what is the best way for everyone to get involved in this?
Well, before I tell you the best way, let me say a special good morning to Ms. Kimoy Thomas Williams and to the Titan in Media Productions, Chairman Michael Kerr, better known as Mikey K, because TTT, just like B-Mobile, have major stake in this project. TTT is actually going to be our broadcasting partner for this initiative, our platinum sponsor. So you can capture all the events live on TTT. I'm sure there'll be reruns Sure, there'll be broadcast throughout, and even later on, there'll be video production packages. We have much more interviews. So if you want to be a part of this, persons in Trinidad, people globally, just log into TTT, and you will be fully involved in the activities.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We look forward to finding out about all of the highlights, and hopefully, we can get some coverage of that on the show as well. So thank you for being here, Onika and Bimal.
Thank you, Virmala.
All right. All the best and have a great event. That was Bimal Ramlogan and Onika Blackman talking about the school reenactment of 1776 debate, the time capsule ceremony, and everything taking place with Main Ridge 250. Well, when we come back, Tobago Thursday continues, and this time it's a really, really, really interesting conversation about psychology and crime.
The plays that shake the arenas. The stories that move a nation. From football to cricket, track to tennis, every win, every rivalry, every headline. This is where Trinidad and Tobago come for sports.
TTT Sports. Committed, accurate, relevant.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
It's that time of the year again, my friends. Feel it in the air. Football, football, football. It's back. Everyone's locked in. This is Richard Torpedo Thompson, and my Trinidad and Tobago people, I'll stay this straight. Fans make the game. Cheers, chants, passion. That's the heartbeat of football. There's only one 12th man that really brings the energy. That's Andre Errol Batiste on TTT. Every Thursday on TTT. Don't miss it.
Ever wondered what happens before the lights come on? Before the crowd pours in? Before the magic hits the stage? This is your all-access pass. Sneak Peek with Junior K takes you behind the scenes of the biggest cultural moments and the hottest events across TNT. From the sound checks to the stage setups, from final rehearsals to exclusive interviews. If it's about to be big, we're already there. Catch Sneak Peek airing daily on TTT and relive every moment on all our social media platforms. Sneak Peek with Junior K, where the story starts before the spotlight.
The Mother Church of the Anglican Diocese suffered significant damage during the earthquake of 2018. Efforts are underway to raise funds to restore this national heritage site. You are invited to make your donations with monthly deposits at any branch of the First Citizens Bank, account number 2696950, Marval Road Branch, in the name of the Incorporated Trustees of the Anglican Holy Trinity Cathedral Restoration.
Times, our headlines have been dominated by stories that challenge our collective sense of security. And while we often focus on the statistics and the response from law enforcement, there is an invisible toll that is just as significant: the impact on our mental health. Well, repeated exposure to crime, whether experienced firsthand or through the constant stream of social media, can leave us feeling hyper-vigilant, anxious, and even uncertain about the future. Don't you agree? But how do we reclaim our peace of mind in an unpredictable environment? And how do we protect the emotional well-being of our children? Well, joining us today to help us navigate these complex emotions is counseling psychologist Rhonda Benjamin. Good morning, Rhonda.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me on the program. I'm really happy to join you and the viewers and listeners today.
Well, Rhonda, this is definitely a topic that we can all benefit from, and it's one we've been talking about for a long time. So thank you for weighing in on this for us and allowing us to air this a little bit. Now, Rhonda, how can repeated exposure to crime actually affect people's sense of safety and well-being?
I think this is a very important question for us to uncover this morning. But first, let me say that our bodies are specially designed to protect us from danger. And in the face of danger, our stress response, also known as our flight or fight response, is activated. So this causes the release of stress hormones. So we know cortisol and adrenaline, which causes a rapid heartbeat, faster breathing, difficulty sleeping, that feeling of dread or anxiety. And it also causes increased irritability. So you may find yourself now having racing thoughts, difficulty concentrating, and repeated exposure to crime, whether, as you mentioned, experiencing it directly, witnessing it, or hearing about it frequently, can significantly affect a person's psychological well-being. So if our stress response is triggered too frequently, the body does not get enough time to return to its regulated state. And of course, even small stressors at this time can seem very significant for the brain and the body. So it may start beginning to affect your daily functioning. And even in our communities, repeated exposure to crime, it could cause that collective sense of insecurity, which it would impact, the overall sense of community trust, social interaction, and even the quality of life.
Yeah. Now, Rhonda, when many people feel fearful when crime increases, how can we manage these feelings in a healthy way?
So again, fear is a natural response to perceived danger, but it becomes unhealthy when it begins to control our daily lives. So healthy ways to manage could include limiting overexposure to crime news, especially on social media. And some persons may argue, we cannot shield ourselves away from what is happening. We need to stay protected. And that is true. So our focus should then not be on the details, the intricate details of crime, but focusing on the realistic safety precautions that we can take rather than only focusing on the worst case scenario. Maintaining normal routines, safe normal routines. So if you feel fearful initially to be out and about as you normally would, sometimes, trying to adjust your routines, maybe exercising at home or in your neighborhood, that helps. Focus on your hobbies, things that give you that sense of control. Practice grounding techniques. Usually, in the face of distress, we find ourselves feeling as though we are not in control. So in opposition to the stress response, we have the relaxation response. And you can allow your body to relax by doing deep breaths. Breathe in for 4, hold the breath for 6, and breathe out for 6. And keep practicing these techniques as your body begins to regulate. Staying connected with supportive people. We all need persons. Sometimes just communicating with your family, your colleagues. It could provide that reassurance and balanced perspectives. In our communities, focusing on neighborhood watch groups or, safety discussions, that also restores a sense of agency and control.
Yeah. Well, Rhonda, before we wrap up, quickly, can you tell us where we can find more resources or professional support on all of this?
Definitely. So here in Tobago, you can access services at the Division of Health. You can come in. You can request counseling services, also the Division of Community Development. And there are a number of sources that are also available in Trinidad. If you cannot get the contact for these resources, you can always call 211 here in Tobago and support would be available. You can also reach out to us at Equilibrium Counseling Services, 376-3760.
All right. Thank you very much, Rhonda Thompson-Benjamin, a counselor and psychologist, talking about the psychological effects of crime. Rhonda, we'll definitely love to have you back on the show in the coming weeks to continue this discussion. Have a great day, Rhonda.
Same to you. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Well, just about 4 minutes before 7 o'clock on Tobago Thursday on Trinidad and Tobago Today. We've got news at the top of the hour and so much more inside the next when we come back.
Every sunrise brings a new beginning, a quiet promise that we're never truly alone in life's journey.
Women are a quiet strength the world leans on, the hands that holds everything together, and the heart that keeps on giving, even when they're tired. And it's time for us to celebrate that. I'm Yasha Manu, your host of Majestic Makeover, the series which uplifts and transforms the lives of everyday women who've carried so much for so long. In this season, we're looking for women like these, women who have endured, women who survived, women who keep on going, no matter what. A woman who's lost a loved one and finds the strength to go on. A survivor of crime who refused to be broken. A woman over 70 who gives to her family and the community every single day. A survivor of serious illness who continues to live with hope and courage. A physically challenged woman living fully with dignity and determination. These are the stories we want to honor. Do you know her? Nominate her. Let's celebrate her. Send us 2 brief paragraphs which briefly states who she is, your relationship to her, and why she deserves this journey. As well, send us your contact information. Send it to majesticmakeover@tt@gmail.com. Because remember, every woman needs to feel majestic. Majestic Makeover Season 3, right here on TTT.
You are dearer to me than all the stars. So many wish but never reach. 'Cause when I'm falling and all the world seems dark, you help me find my peace. Oh, shun mi ba fishani. Oh, shun mi ba.
Good morning. This is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. An investment of more than $200 million is set to go toward the construction of a new hotel complex at South Park in San Fernando. Prime Minister Kamla Persaud-Bissessar has welcomed the development, describing the 120-room Hilton Garden Inn Hotel and Convention Center as a significant catalyst for job creation, economic expansion, and new opportunities. Construction is expected to begin within the next 60 days, a timeline the Prime Minister says signals a decisive move away from mere announcements toward tangible delivery. Director of Superior Hotels Limited, John Aboud, has expressed confidence that the construction of the 120-room Hilton Garden Inn Hotel and Convention Center will kickstart government's revitalization blueprint.
This milestone would not be possible without the active support and decisive action by various government ministries and agencies. Our interactions have been positive, advice has been instructive, and decisions prompt. In particular, we wish to express our gratitude to the Ministry of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development, and more particularly the Town and Country Division and the Environmental Management Authority.
He gave assurances that the consultancy team will be made up of entirely local professionals, helping to conserve foreign exchange. At the sword-turning ceremony, Prime Minister Kamla Persaud-Bissessar said the project reflects growing state-private sector collaboration and renewed investor confidence.
Mr. Aboud outlined the key elements. Construction is expected, you said, within 60 days, and we plan to hold you to that together with your team. It is a huge investment, $220 million.
The multi-million-dollar project is expected to be completed in 2 years. In more news, Trinidad and Tobago is officially moving away from a paper-based public service system with the launch of Verify TT. Rolled out by iGov-TT through the Ministry of Public Administration and Artificial Intelligence, the country's first digital verification platform gives citizens instant access to official records, eliminating paperwork and long waits at government offices. 2 MOUs were signed among the Ministry of Public Administration and Artificial Intelligence, the Ministry of Land and Legal Affairs, and the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Minister Dominic Smith said the platform is designed to better meet the evolving needs of citizens.
How do we meet it in a way that betters the lives of each and every citizen? I can say to you today that this government and this ministry puts people first. And we have seen the demand of the population, and we have seen the pain points that affect their daily lives. Solutions like Verify TT solve many of those problems that have been plaguing our society.
Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, Professor Prakash Prasad, said the platform will replace manual verification with a secure digital system, giving students and graduates instant access to digital credentials through a digital wallet.
It allows them to have greater mobility, for their credentials can now be easily shared, both with employers locally and abroad. So Verify TT represents a strategic step in modernizing how we issue, manage, and validate academic and skill-based credentials in Trinidad and Tobago. It is intended to be, Mr. Minister, the national standard here.
He said Verify TT will support key records ranging from birth, death, and marriage certificates to QR-coded land records, positioning the platform to modernize Trinidad and Tobago's digital public infrastructure from civil documentation to academic credentials. Moving to sport now, in a statement released on Wednesday afternoon, Cricket West Indies announced that Leeward Islands Hurricanes batsman Jeremiah Lewis is out of hospital after CT scans came back clear. Lewis was taken to hospital on Tuesday after taking a blow to the head in the Hurricanes' drawn West Indies Championship clash with the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, a match that was abandoned because of a dangerous pitch. The Hurricanes medical team, along with CWI, will monitor Lewis over the next 48 hours. He will then be reassessed before the team's next fixture on Sunday at the Antigua Recreation Ground. And that's what's making the news at this time. When we come back, it's hour number 2 of Trinidad and Tobago Today.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, We deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1. Bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Cherry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
So I'll go right to on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
Barcelona drawing a game, not winning their first set of game. Worried, concerned.
Emotional damage is fun to see.
What a wonderful finish. Corner
You see it? So, come again. One more time.
More news, more access, more ways to stay informed. TTT News covers the stories that matter on air and online. Join us nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Well, this morning we continue our special series examining the government's first year in office, and we now turn to the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, where the focus over the past 12 months has been on ensuring that diplomacy delivers real, tangible benefits for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So from strengthening key international partnerships to securing grant funding, expanding visa-free travel, and positioning the country for greater investment and economic opportunity, there has been a clear shift toward a results-driven foreign policy. We've also seen increased engagement on the global stage, deeper collaboration within CARICOM, and a renewed effort to support nationals at home and abroad. Well, joining us now is the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, the Honourable Sean Sobers, as we take a closer look at the progress made so far and what lies ahead. Good morning, Minister.
Good morning, Virmala. Thank you.
And allow me to also say a happy wedding anniversary to you and your lovely wife.
Thank you. It has been 10 years of perfect marital bliss, and I also would want to wish my wife happy anniversary this morning.
Well, it's a very special day, and we're glad that you can spend it, starting it with us this morning.
Thank you so much.
So, Minister, you've described your approach as a Trinidad and Tobago first approach. How has that shaped your ministry's international engagement over the past year?
I think that approach or that mandate was entrusted to me by the Honorable Prime Minister. For some time, or for a very long time, we've seen Trinidad and Tobago take a back seat in terms of our international engagements, in terms of our outreach with respect to different partners across the globe. And in order for us to advance as a people, we need to seek new partnerships and forge new relationships with different persons throughout the globe. We've seen countries that just as small as we are, with a population very similar to our own, in terms of their advancement, it far outweighs Trinidad and Tobago's. And their diplomatic policy, the way in which they engage globally to learn from other countries similarly disposed or even larger than them, has been extremely robust. And that is what the Prime Minister wanted from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and that's how we've begun to transform the ministry.
Well, speaking about partnerships in other countries, another major milestone was the state visit of India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Yes.
So can you tell us how significant was that visit in strengthening bilateral relations?
Yeah. Well, we've had bilateral relations with India for quite some time. However, we hadn't had the type of engagement, I would want to say, with India in the way in which we really wanted to over the last couple of years. And as soon as Prime Minister Prasad Visesa became the country's Prime Minister, we received that call from the Minister of External Affairs, Dr. Jaishankar, from India, indicating that Prime Minister Modi wanted to visit. He was on a trip across to South America and for the BRICS Summit, and he said it would have been apt for him to definitely stop in Trinidad, give his salutations not only to the Trinbagonian people, to the Prime Minister, but also to the Indian diaspora that lives in Trinidad and Tobago. And one of the key milestones of that visit was both leaders' emphasis on South-South cooperation. So usually countries, less developed countries, which are in the southern part of the hemisphere, we tend to always try to rely on relationships being generated with larger countries in the northern part of the hemisphere. But within the last decade and a half, there's been this sporadic growth of relationships between countries within the south, lesser developed countries that have learned from each other and have grown. And with increasing cooperation with those southern countries, there's been extreme tangible benefits met across the entire southern hemisphere. And that was one of the reasons for his visit, apart from the many gifts that he brought to Trinidad and Tobago, which we are very grateful for.
Yes. Can you tell us about the Indian Grant Assistance Program?
Right. So there are several programs that that India would have given to Trinidad and Tobago based upon that visit. Some of them have to do with sports. Some of them have to do with the limb camp, which is fully operational. I think to date we've given out more than 700 or 800 persons. They've been fitted with limbs, various types of limbs. The actual facility would be the second or third facility outside of India that would be placed now in Trinidad and Tobago in Penal. So that will be a continuing engagement in terms of assisting persons who lose limbs for through varying incidents. We also had cooperation with respect to an agro-processing plant, because we appreciate that our food export bill is extremely high, and we want to encourage farmers through the Ministry of Agriculture. Minister Ratiram is doing a fantastic job to get them to grow more so that we could process those things and have them exported so they have longer shelf lives. They could take the transit of the exportation and whatnot. Additionally, there has been cooperation, medical cooperation, apart from the limbs, with respect to sea ambulances, hemodialysis machines, and also laptops, because India is extremely big on education, and that is something that the Prime Minister holds very key to her heart as well too.
Yeah. So I want to move away now to the United States. So that's another area where we continue to have relations as well. Now, Trinidad and Tobago has continued to strengthen our military partnership with the U.S. So what are the key areas of cooperation under this arrangement?
So definitely our engagement with the U.S. has expanded, I think, 1,000-fold since coming into office. Again, we've always had a very good relationship with the United States, but I would want to say we have a much better relationship with them now. Our Prime Minister and the White House, they share a very, very close relationship, and we work extremely closely with the U.S. Embassy here, with the Secretary of State, and what it has allowed us to do is expand, apart from military to military cooperation. A key focus would have been on energy and the introduction of a lot of U.S. investors into Trinidad and Tobago, which was not something that was prominent before. They always saw the region as being tacitly involved. Now we are fervently engaged with the U.S., and based upon that, it was what I think prompted especially our Prime Minister's clarion call to stamp out narco-terrorism in the southern part of the hemisphere, in the southern part of the Caribbean, that the U.S. got more actively engaged with Trinidad and Tobago, and that, I think, semi-climax with respect to the Shield of the Americas, which we are now part of.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Shield, you were a part of the Shield Summit in Florida alongside the Honorable Prime Minister and members of the Cabinet. So what were the key moments in that meeting for you, and how do they all benefit Trinidad and Tobago, and also what did you personally take away from that?
I think for many persons around the world, and I think it is in fact so, all cabinets, especially the U.S. cabinet, there's a certain degree of distance because of the significant amount of layers that exist within any sector of cabinet in the U.S. So take, for example, the Secretary of State. They employ thousands of persons. There are several different persons, layers and tiers of persons and organizations between a normal individual and the actual Secretary of State. And the same exists with the Secretary of Energy, or the Secretary of Commerce, or the Treasury Secretary, or the United States Trade Representative. And what we were allowed to do at the Shield of the Americas was all of those tiers, all of those different sectors that separate the actual person representing that particular cabinet office were removed, and you had a one-on-one engagement, which is something I think has never occurred before. So, I mean, I don't want to publicly say, but I will publicly say, coming out of that meeting, we have actual personal telephone relationships now, direct telephone relationships now with the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Treasury, the Secretary of Commerce, the Secretary of Energy, which is extremely important, Secretary Wright, Secretary Rubio, many staffers in the White House, Mr. Stephen Miller. So the connection now between Trinidad and Tobago, this administration, and literally nearly every single person within the White House is physically there. I mean, we will not use it sporadically, but I have had cause to call and actually speak to Secretary Wright within the last coming days. I've had cause and I've actually spoken to Under Secretary of State Chris Landau. We've had cause to speak to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and there's no more bureaucracy. I mean, we still liaise with the U.S. Embassy because the charge and her team down here are fantastic, and we appreciate them, we love them. But if we do need to actually literally pick up the phone and call the Secretary of State, it is literally just a phone call away now.
All right, thank you for that, Minister Sobers. We take a short break, and when we come back, we continue our conversation with the Honourable Sean Sobers, Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs.
Season equals new dreams, and many football fans are dreaming of their team actually winning this season. But the reality is that only one team can win, so many will just be dreaming and wishing and hoping that their team can deliver. Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Notice I have not mentioned Arsenal. Don't be upset, I'm not mentioning Man U either. This is Atto Bolden inviting all of you to follow the 12th man as they celebrate a new season on TTT and enjoy the ride.
You are dearer to me than all the stars. So many wish but never reach. 'Cause when I'm falling and all the world seems dark, you help me find my peace. Oh, shun mi ba fishani. Oh, shun mi ba yeah. Oh, shun mi ba fishani. Arubita, yeah, 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 yeah,
There are a number of risk factors for heart disease, so a lot of attention has to be put towards preventive cardiology. What can we do to reduce the burden due to all these risk factors? Hypertension, diabetes, cholesterol, need to stop cigarette smoking, you gotta get people exercising.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Up for this exciting challenge and confident about your business? If you are, the 1020 feature is just what you need. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
Well, continuing our discussion this morning with Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, the Honourable Sean Sobers. We switch now, Minister, to the fact that we've been strengthening ties with the United Arab Emirates. And I know that there was a reciprocal investment protection agreement. Can you tell us about that and about the investment for Trinidad and Tobago?
Right. So one of the mandates also given to the ministry, again, in terms of reaching out to different partners was, listen, we don't really have much of a relationship with the Middle East, which is kind of strange because we have oil and gas sector that dates back over 100 years. We've turned out engineers that work all across the world, especially within the Middle East. We have a large diaspora that exists in the Gulf states, which is Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, the Kingdom of Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Oman, and we've never really had any significant relationship with any of these countries. So one of the first things the Prime Minister indicated is that we need to get in contact with the Middle East and let's see how we could share the knowledge that we have and expertise that we have and with their growth. And so one of the first countries that we were able to have that discussion with was the United Arab Emirates. The Foreign Minister of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Abdullah, is actually the brother of the President of the UAE, and he is an amazing person. He has quite a fantastic team on them. Nora Al-Kabi, we speak all the time as well too. She's amazing. She's the Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And on that particular, we visited the UAE on 2 occasions, but in terms of that particular agreement that you spoke about, the UAE is a country that attracted a lot of investment that allowed them to build their country. When people think about the UAE, they think about Dubai. the capital of the UAE is actually Abu Dhabi. That's where all the oil and gas actually takes place. The money comes from. And when we had discussions with them and we went to Dubai and we spoke to Sheikh Maktoum and the other rulers in Dubai, and they gave us their plans, all of it centered around investment. So in order to make Trinidad and Tobago investable for those types of persons who invest in the UAE, we're talking about people from the UK, Spain, France, and even further east, this type of investment treaty, reciprocal investment treaty, to protect the investments when they come to Trinidad and Tobago is important. Nobody wants to pick up $1 billion USD in hard currency and come to Trinidad and Tobago. They invest in a plant, and then tomorrow there's a change in administration, and somebody wakes up and says, listen, you see that plant that you invested $1 billion USD in? I want that plant. And we nationalize it, or we expropriate it, as they say. So this investment protection arrangement allows, apart from that being prelucidly written into the arrangement, it also allows them to have means to commercially arbitrate matters if there are disputes, so that there's dispute resolution mechanisms built into it, which encourages investment protection and the appetite for investment from that side of the world to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. Well, there's so much to cover, over the past year. So I want to switch now to the United Nations General Assembly. I know that Trinidad and Tobago has really been active there. What key priorities have you advanced there?
Right. So, I think the most major one is that we are currently vying for a seat at the UNSC, the United Nations Security Council. The UNSC has 5 permanent members, and there are spaces for non-permanent members which rotate every 2 years. Trinidad and Tobago is geared towards being elected as a non-P5 member for the period 2026 to 2028. The elections are in June, I think the 5th to the 6th of June. And I think that will be one of the largest milestones that we would have had at the United Nations within the last 20 plus years. The focus in terms of what we want to bring to the United Nations Security Council, because it is one of the most powerful organs of the United Nations. So sitting there as a non-permanent 5 member, apart from being just part of the room and part of the conversation, you actually have the ability to chair the UNSC at least 2 times within your term. So in going out there to get, apart from the support that we have from GRULAC, which is the Latin America and Caribbean, and the support from CARICOM, we've been going out to touch other partners around the world to ensure that we get their support. And they've been interested in finding out, well, what do you intend to do if you become a non-permanent 5 member? We focus on a mandate that the Prime Minister has given us, which is to focus on what affects Trinidad and Tobago first, and the wider Caribbean and the rest of the world. That being issues related to women, peace and security, the movement of small arms, which is a huge problem that we have in the Southern Caribbean, and also, which is one of the most important ones that has been raised and has been accepted by every single person we've spoken to, is the positive and the negative usage of artificial intelligence.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I know that we have had efforts to strengthen intelligence systems, also maritime surveillance and all of that. Can you tell us a little bit about that development as it relates to our national and regional security?
Well, as Minister Alexander would like to say, I can't tell you a secret because it will no longer be a secret. Right? But what I can say is that we have partnered with several countries, especially with respect to the U.S., in strengthening our maritime borders. It has not been a secret. What has not been a secret is that our borders have been extremely porous for the last decade, which has allowed for the flow of guns, drugs, human beings, agriculture, animals to come across the border unchecked, unmatched, and it has really been a problem. So strengthening our relationship with the U.S., we've been able to repair several boats that have been down. We have a lot of the larger vessels that are out there now patrolling the borders. We are even strengthening our relationships with Venezuela to get assistance from them to help identify boats that are coming in illegally. And we're in the process now of even furthering those relations to deport persons who are illegally here and have not followed the correct process to get to Trinidad and Tobago. We are not a country that is big on nepotism at all, or on xenophobia, I should say. But what we are on is that you need to come here legally, and we will afford you all the rights and privileges just like any other citizen that is within Trinidad and Tobago.
So another hot topic these days is, and this is on another side of the conversation. It's sargassum, and I believe there's a project that's about to be undertaken, and it's exploring innovative economic initiatives like converting the sargassum into high-value products. Would you be able to tell us about that project?
Right. So there are several projects spanning several ministries with respect to sargassum. As you know, it's something that is plaguing the Caribbean, especially in and around June, July. You have a lot of sargassum seaweed coming, and the sargassum becomes an extreme problem because it is on the beach and the coastline. And then when it begins to rot, it has a foul stench. And I mean, a lot of the hotel and hoteliers, they complain because their visitors, they would complain about it and whatnot. So many countries around the world who are also faced or similarly faced with such a problem, they found a way to transform the sargassum seaweed into material that can be utilized especially for skincare and cosmetic products and whatnot. And that's a partnership that is taking place with the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Planning, and the Ministry of Rural and Local Development, with assistance from the United Nations, the UNDP, the country of Japan as well. We have some of our Scandinavian partners that are assisting us with that as well too. So really and truly what has to happen is that we need to formulate a mechanism where we could collect the sargassum at water before it hits the beach, and then we would be able to filter it properly and transform it into something that can be utilized for cosmetics and other good usages.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. We've had some conversations about that on the show, and it's amazing how you can take something that is proving to be such an issue now and turn that into, just an asset as
Definitely,
well for us. So, Minister, within CARICOM, there's been a focus on regional cooperation and security. So how important now has that collective approach been in helping with things like the transnational crime issue that we have?
Right. So, I mean, we are the lead in CARICOM when it comes to national security and energy. We have had several discussions on the issue. It is no secret that sometimes we are split as a region as to how we think we should deal with some of these issues. I would want to publicly say that there are certain countries that are hinged to the hip as to the approach that Trinidad and Tobago has adopted when it comes to dealing with maritime issues and border security, which would be us, Guyana, Jamaica. Other countries, they have their own approaches, which we appreciate because they're sovereign states, but they are not so affected respectfully in the way in which we are when it comes to narco-terrorism and transnational crime. And we have adopted the approach, at least the three of us, criminals that are motivated by ideology are not as dangerous as criminals that are motivated by profit. And what we're dealing with are criminals that are motivated by profit. The monsters of today that Trinidad and Tobago and the Southern Caribbean have to treat with are far more worse. They are far more sophisticated than the monsters of yesteryear. And so that requires a robust, drastic, serious, and significant response. And that is the manner in which we have adopted to deal with it. Some of it has been kinetic strikes in international waters, which we support through the US. and it has had a significant reduction on crime within Trinidad and Tobago because there's no access to guns, there's little or no access to drugs, there's no human smuggling because persons are not going to put people on boats when they know that there's a possibility that they can be destroyed. And we have had several different iterations of legal support on this matter to ensure that we are within the confines of the law when these things take place. But a dramatic response is required because we are facing some significant issues that no one has ever really thought to treat with in this particular way to yield the results that we have been we've procured thus far. And it has all been based upon the Prime Minister taking a direct approach and walking that line no matter what detractors say. And it has shown tangible success.
Minister, moving further now, how would you describe relations with Venezuela at this time?
Our relations with Venezuela continue to get better. I would say almost on a daily basis. Trinidad and Tobago has never broken its diplomatic relations with Venezuela, even during all of the rhetoric, the unfortunate rhetoric that passed between the two countries. But we've never broken diplomatic relations. Our embassy has always remained open. The Venezuelan embassy has always remained open. We've always been extremely friendly to the Venezuelan ambassador, Alvaro, who's a personal friend of mine. And we've always had, they've always treated our diplomats across in Caracas with fervent and due respect. We talk daily as we try to put together the agenda for this diplomatic mission that will be launched soon. But as you would well imagine, there are a number of issues to be discussed. Venezuela is a country with huge potential apart from energy. There's a lot of trade and economics that can take place within Venezuela, and that is where we are together for the benefit of both Trinbagonian people and the people of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. We are both laser focused on to deliver for both countries.
Minister, thank you for those responses. Before we wrap up today, I want to ask you a question, a personal one. How you've gone through this entire year and you've achieved so much, but on a personal level, what are you most proud of over the past year in government?
I am not saying this because the Prime Minister has cleared this up yesterday. So my job is safe as far as I know. So there's no cabinet reshuffle. But I am most proud of the relationship that the Prime Minister has shared with a lot of, if not actually with all of cabinet. She has been extremely hands-on. She's nurtured every single minister and ministry. And she's taken a significant role, direct role, in the way the ministry is developed. For me personally, having someone like that as a mentor in what was originally, in my opinion, really a ministry that would, have some degree of diplomatic tension at some point in time and some sort of difficulties to navigate. I don't think the Ministry of Foreign Affairs ever had this amount of work to do. But the Prime Minister has been there with me every step of the way. And all the achievements that the ministry has successfully procured since coming into office, we tether to her leadership. And I am very, very proud of that as a minister, that I can report on so many different things that we've been successful on. Some of them many of them that we have not been able to touch on because of the short period of time that I've been here.
Well, still, nevertheless, thank you very much for joining us this morning. So that was Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, the Honourable Sean Sobers, as we continue to wish him a very happy wedding anniversary. And we know your wife is probably looking on, and we hope it's a really special day for you both.
I think she's maybe getting my daughter ready for school.
All right, well, a special good morning to her as well. The time now, just about 20 minutes before 8 o'clock. We'll get ready now in a short bit for the link up with our next sister station on the list.
The plays that shake the arenas. The stories that move a nation. From football to cricket, track to tennis, every win, every rivalry, every headline. This is where Trinidad and Tobago come for sports.
TTT Sports with Nasira Mohammed, daily at 7 p.m.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Barcelona drawing a game, not winning their first set of game. Worried, concerned?
Emotional damage is fantasy.
What a wonderful finish.
You see it? So, come again. One more time.
Ever wondered what happens before the lights come on? Before the crowd pours in? Before the magic hits the stage? This is your all-access pass. Sneak Peek with Junior K takes you behind the scenes of the biggest cultural moments and the hottest events across TNT. From the sound checks to the stage setups, from final rehearsals to exclusive interviews. If it's about to be big, we're already there. Catch Sneak Peek airing daily on TTT and relive every moment on all our social media platforms. Sneak Peek with Junior K, where the story starts before the spotlight.
Good morning, Space.
This is The Link Up with Sweet 100.1 FM.
Well, right about now, we're going to take a quick moment to connect with our friends over at Sweet 100.1 FM. Of course, this is The Link Up, where we bridge that space between television and radio just to check in and see what's happening on the other side. Good morning, Mark and Nicholas.
Well, actually, it's just Mark alone today. Good morning to you, Virmala. How are you doing today?
I am doing good. I want to know, where did Nicholas go?
Actually, he's feeling a little bit under the weather today. So, yesterday and today, he took a little day off. I'm wishing him a speedy recovery.
I'm so sorry, but I know he's looking on.
I'm sure he is. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. We just had a wonderful discussion with Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, the Honorable Sean Sobers, just, talking about the first year in office, and there was so much to, unpack in all of that. So it's good now to touch base with you and find out what's happening on your end.
Well, I know that you usually start your show whenever you're having a little chit-chat with Carrie, and you would talk about days that Carrie put a particular type of significance. So I decided to do a little looking up, and I saw that today is also World Book and Copyright Day. I don't know if you did that one this morning.
Yes, we did that. We spoke about World Book, the parts about the books.
You see, I'm joining the movement because it's so good and it's enlightening at the same time to learn a little something that you might not have been thinking about.
Absolutely.
And I also looked a little bit more, and I saw that today is St. George's Day.
It is.
Which is celebrated in England. You see, so I'm joining the movement, and I'm really enjoying what you guys do in the morning time. That little cross talk that you do. So I'm sure that a lot of persons are appreciating that at the same time. So also what's going on Sweet 100.1 FM, we got a couple of persons who've been messaging us this morning, sharing birthday requests. We got Janelle, she's out there in Tobago. She's celebrating a birthday today. Also coming up, we've got Mother's Day just around the corner. And that is also going to be something really significant to all the moms. And there are so many persons who hold the hat of moms in Trinidad and Tobago. And we want to really celebrate them this year in Sweet TNT. And
yeah. You know, we actually have another
my
birthday.
My music is a little bit too loud. I think I'm getting a little something that my music is a little too loud there.
Oh,
so
wow.
I do apologize.
I'm so sorry to them for that. But, you know, we're enjoying the music. We heard when you were just coming on. Also, we have to say a very, very, very special happy birthday to one of our very own Tobago producer, Sophie, celebrated her birthday yesterday.
Oh,
and we missed that.
Birthday.
So here is the lovely Sophie.
Oh,
happy birthday to you, darling Sophie. We wish you all the best and many, many, many years of health and happiness and all things good.
Well, her eyebrows are on point, I could tell you that.
Oh, wow, Mark. Only you
really,
would
really
notice
neat.
that. But I love that
those
about you, Mark.
eyebrows are on point, I tell you.
I like that about you, Mark. You always notice the fine details. Well, also
and
today
your eyebrows
on
on point too. I mean, looking at yours, I mean, look.
Thank you. Oh, we're looking at yours too, Mark. Wow.
Well, thank you very much. You've been so kind.
Well, the beard is good too. We've noticed the symmetry with the beard. Also,
I had a little hard time this morning. I was hoping it was even because I was rushing this morning.
Mark, it is Tobago Thursday on the show today. So special good morning to all our viewers in Tobago, always locking on, and to those who are on the live streams. We're streaming on Facebook and YouTube, and we love hearing from everyone. Always checking in, saying good morning to us. So, definitely. Mark, what is your favorite song of all the songs you've played for the entire morning?
I really like Olivia Dean. I don't know if you're into Olivia Dean. She's really trending.
Oh, I know she had one called It's Man I Need. Am I correct?
Yeah, and actually one of her songs is our sweet pick for today, which is So Easy. And people really love Olivia Dean right now. We have so many more new songs from Olivia Dean that we will be featuring throughout the morning and also featuring throughout the day. So Olivia Dean is really trending, and I really like Billie Eilish also too.
Okay.
I don't know if you're into Billie Eilish.
Sometimes she can be in a quiet taste.
Just the way you answered it, like,
I will be really honest with you, Mark. I don't have much time to listen to music these days, so it's hard.
I know that could be sometimes. Waking up so early in the morning and also trying to get that sleep in. But you're looking fresh as a rose.
Yeah, well, we have to come out and do what we do. What time do you wake up every morning, Mark?
Fortunately, and I say fortunately because, we have to be thankful for the breath of life. So about 3:45 every morning.
3:45?
Yeah,
okay.
3:45. That's the first alarm.
Okay, well, I'm halfway ready at that point. So,
wonderful for you.
I am very happy, that you get to wake up at that time. It must be nice. Well, Mark, who do you have coming up after your shift? Can you give us some, insight onto who's up for the day ahead?
Coming up today, we've got, I think it's Egan. Rhea's off today. So we have, I believe it will be Sharon. She'll be filling in for Rhea just for today. And following Sharon, we've got actually Sharon again alongside Chaotic. And later on, we've got Mr. Q, and I believe it will be Dr. Hyde coming up later on today. So Adrian is on a little time off and doing a little sabbatical and maybe just trying to refresh himself and coming back a little bit fresher when he returns pretty soon. So once again, as I began, I said Nicholas, he's not feeling too well. So sending out greetings to him and hope that he will recover quickly. So from all of us to all of you, we wish you a fantastic day. Thank you very much, Trinidad and Tobago Today. We'll be linking up with you come next week, Thursday. And I want to wish you also a beautiful and safe day today until we speak again.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Have a beautiful and safe day yourself. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
That was Sweet 100.1 FM with the link up.
Today, good morning, Space.
This is The Link Up with Sweet 100.1 FM.
Well, on March 21st, World Down Syndrome Day will be observed. Well, it was observed. In Tobago, one organization has been providing a safe and inviting environment for children living with Down syndrome and many others for the past 20 years. Caricia Douglas visited Healing with Horses for this I Love Tobago segment.
They say healing with horses represents Tobago, where persons can be rejuvenated and feel refreshed.
German-born Veronica Danta Lafortune visited Tobago as a tourist and fell in love with the island. After marrying her Trinidadian husband, they moved to Tobago in 2006 and brought their love for horses to the island.
I was able to bring a horse to Bucco, and that was a horse. She was living in an estate in Speyside for 6 years, and I brought her food up at the estate for 6 months, and she then really liked me and trusted me, and we walked 20 hours to Bucco. That was the start of being and healing with horses.
20 years later, 20 horses have been adopted, some from as far as Europe. Veronica said the park is a haven and home for both young and old, outfitted with all things recycled.
It feels so alive and feels so relaxing because, you know, whatever you see here got love and attention. This is an old tea and tack pole. We painted up with the children's names, with the horse names. We use old car tires, old truck tires to make benches. So when you give something love and attention, it shines.
A major focus at Healing with Horses is support for persons living with disabilities.
We invite the specially able children from different schools, like the Joy of Learning Research Center. That's a school for specially able children, mainly on the autism spectrum. Some of them have Down syndrome, some of them are diagnosed with ADHD. We also have on Tuesdays the Transformational School. We invite them as well, free of charge, to come to play in the park, to learn life skills, to learn motor skills, to learn teamwork, to be engaged in art therapy.
Not only children with disabilities are integrated at the park, but adults too have a place.
Presently, we employ 3 specially abled adults here at the park. They work here daily with us. You see the park is a big space. We also had a young gentleman coming to the park. He's now 31. He has been going to the Happy Haven School before. And then, of course, when they reach a certain age, sometimes there's no place for them to go. Yeah, and he always loved being with the animals. So he was actually in the morning taking care of maintaining the horse paddocks.
A highlight at Healing with Horses are the tours where persons can enjoy Tobago's beauty along the Bucco Beach and mangroves.
It's actually so much more as a horseback ride. It's a retreat, you know, where you just have to really let go, connect not only with the animal but also with yourself, learn to trust yourself and your team partner, horse, which is a 1,000-pound animal. You can see children have no problem with trusting. We can maybe show them how you stand on a horse. Yeah, yeah, you can go ahead. So Azaria right now is showing us how. Look at her. Isn't that amazing?
Azaria and Malachi, who are usual faces at the space during the children's integration sessions, also gave us another little treat at the park.
Me and Malachi's juice bar. Yeah, as you can see, we make homemade juice with super healthy ingredients like coconut and lime and all kinds of other healthy stuff.
In essence, Veronica said Healing with Horses Park provides a holistic experience for visitors.
It's important that we give the children a space where they can feel integrated and explore and experience life in all forms. So we call it our vision, a harmonious wave of healing for all.
Healing with Horses is planning a special experience for visitors during the Easter holidays, a circus involving the animals. And after much encouragement from Veronica, Azaria and Malachi, and a smooth ride from my new friend Carla, the butterflies disappeared.
They say there's always a first for everything. Indeed, it was a relaxing experience here at Healing with Horses. I am Carissa Douglas for TTT News, and we love Tobago!
What a beautiful way to end our Tobago Thursday today. Thank you so much to Carissa Douglas for all her hard work, especially in this beautiful feature. Well, do you know your country? Well, Trinidad and Tobago today is focusing on Point Fortin now, its history, its rich heritage, culture and community significance as the borough celebrates its 46th anniversary. Point Fortin became a borough in 1980 and it took a lot for that to happen. But Point Fortin was up for the task. This little corner of Trinidad has given so much. Here's a look now at what it took for Point Fortin to gain the status of borough.
Point Fortin didn't become a borough by chance. It earned it, starting out as a collection of estates. La Fortune, Clifton Hill, and Adventure, small communities shaped by agriculture and hard work. But in the early 1900s, everything changed with the discovery of oil. And with it came people, opportunity, and growth. Naturally. Workers arrived from across Trinidad and the Caribbean, families settled, villages expanded, and a once quiet area became a thriving town. By the mid-1900s, Point Fortin had developed its own identity, strong, vibrant, and full of life. In Trinidad and Tobago, a place becomes a borough when it reaches a certain level, a growing population, economic importance, developed communities, and the ability to manage its own affairs. Point Fortin had all of that. So on March 24, 1980, under Act No. 12 of 1980, Point Fortin was officially granted borough status. A proud step forward, recognizing its growth, its strength, and its people from estates to oil town to borough. Point Fortin was coming into its own and ready to shape its future. History lives in the places we pass every day. And right here in Point Fortin, the story continues. So take a moment, look a little closer, because there's always more to discover down in the borough.
Beautiful Point Fortin. Thank you so much to everyone who made today's show possible. Thank you to Sophia, our producer, and also happy belated birthday to her again. Tobago Thursdays was on Trinidad and Tobago today. Well, we see you tomorrow where we do this all over again, 6 to 8 on Trinidad and Tobago today. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Please be safe on the nation's roads. Remember to hydrate and have a wonderful time. Live every day like it's your last. Bye-bye.
Hi everybody, I am Leah.
And I'm Dion.
And we are
The Duncans.
Listen, we're here to tell you about a project the Lord has given to us called the Marriage Confessional. It is geared toward married couples, those that are on the road to marriage, and those that want to get married one day.
So join us on TTT and on Facebook and YouTube at TTT Live Online.
The Marriage Confessional, only on TTT.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Your world moves fast, so do we. TTT News brings you the people, events, and issues that matter most. Stay informed, stay ahead. TTT News, every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Good morning. This is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. The Tobago Marine Park Bill will be debated by the Tobago House of Assembly on Thursday. The legislation aims to modernize the management and enforcement of regulations in Tobago's marine protected areas. In the wake of a tragic incident earlier this month, the legislation is being fast-tracked. The Tobago House of Assembly's Chief Secretary, Father Agustin, has indicated that the legislation is not new.
To the House this morning, updating that bill because, of course, a few things have changed. The use of the marine park has evolved since that time, and so we are returning to the House where we are updating that said piece of legislation and we're sending it to the Parliament thereafter.
The Chief Secretary indicated that he had engaged with Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar and Attorney General John Jeremy and had been given the assurance that the bill will be included on the Parliament's legislative agenda.
This is the second time that the Tobago House of Assembly will be passing a bill of this nature. In November of 2020, we did in fact pass a bill of this nature. And at that time, I was a minority assemblyman, and we unanimously, meaning all members of the House, including those of us who were in the minority at the time, supported the bill. The bill was sent down to Parliament, but it was never ever placed on the legislative agenda.
Mr. Agustin noted that the Tobago Marine Park Bill 2026 cannot take effect as national law without being passed by the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago and receiving presidential assent. In other news, reports of domestic violence has prompted a group of concerned citizens, spearheaded by Attorney-at-Law Prakash Ramadar, to launch a domestic violence hotline. Describing domestic violence as a societal issue which needs to be addressed, Prakash Ramadar, President of the Assembly of Southern Lawyers, Cyril Lakan, and clinical psychologist Dr. Valini Pundit have set up a new tool to help victims.
Since the last meeting we had over the weekend, we have already come up with a hotline, and I will announce that today, and Cyril will give us more details. 378-6421. You call that, whatever difficulty you have, someone is going to answer it, and they're going to guide you through as best as we could as to how to deal with those issues, of course.
Ms. Lakan said several members of her executive and several psychologists have volunteered their services.
So the hotline is a 24-hour hotline. It's going to be manned by volunteers, and it's open to both men and women. It's also open to children as well, where they can call and if they would like to report an incident of domestic violence or speak to someone, just have a listening ear. That's available. What is also available is we can direct persons who require legal help to volunteers as well.
Mr. Ramadar hopes that other civil society organizations extend their expertise to assist with the initiative. In sport, after missing out on qualification for the 2024 Olympic Games, Trinidad and Tobago national boxer Tiana Guy is set to take the next step on her road to qualify for the 2028 Los Angeles Games this August at the Central American and Caribbean Games held in the Dominican Republic. Guy, who is eyeing a podium finish, is one of 4 boxers who have qualified for the CAC Games, and she is expecting great things from the contingent.
First time since I am on the team, I have another female boxer with me, Angel George. So that is a historic moment in itself. We have 2 women going into CAC Games competing. We have a new addition to the team, Abdul Taylor. He's really new. Caribbean champion, schoolboy champion. So it's also a good indicator that some of the grassroots programs that was implemented years ago bringing fruition. So for athletes going to CAC Games, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
And that was your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. From all of us here, have a great day.
is TTT. Live for local.
Carrie's Kitchen, powered by Food Hall. Grocery made greater. Ibis, a tradition of excellence. Caribbean flavors. In the heart of every kitchen. Lotus, the confidence to create. Correga Garden Supplies. Good and natural. Indie, spice up your life. Distributed by Edward B.B. Harry. Champion.